that having all the information is really nice. However, having the practical, really the rubber meets the road, is what most people are really craving and tuning into. And this is one of the concepts that we learn, and especially about the types of stresses that are that people are under every day, is the two fundamental components which make up the universe, which make up existence, are information and energy. Energy being the potential to do the work, but then the information is what work needs to be done and how does it need to be done. Really, information is what allows energy to create a form. And energy is what acts through information to actually create that form. So all of the solid structures that we experience around us are the relationship, the dynamic between information and energy. And when we have too much information and not enough energy to enact it, to make the change, to do the work, that's actually a form of toxin. That is actually a toxin to the human body and the human mind and the human experience, which is all of this stuff, but yet not enough potential to do anything with that stuff. And in today's society, we are flooded with information. We are flooded with the internet and with the news media and information, full access 24/7 to as much information, more information than we could ever possibly consume. And at the same time, the human system is so disconnected from the natural order of things, the natural way that this physical structure accesses the energy, the way that our ancestors used to access the energy, which is going to be the connection, creating the negative ions from the ground beneath us, touching the ground with the soles of our feet, being hydrated with high quality water, enough to create the semiconductive circuits around the energy producing portions of our cells called our mitochondria. Exposure to the solar radiation, the solar energy that allows the photoelectric effect to release electrons into what's called the electron transport chain. So all of this information that we have, and combined with being disconnected from the way that our ancestors used to access more energy, is creating a big imbalance in where we are with humanity today. So today, we're going to talk a little bit about the seasons, and we're going to talk a little bit about how do the seasons and does the stages of healing and the practices, how does the practice of SRI apply and relate to what's going on in society and humanity as a whole right now? What can we as individuals do to release more bound energy into the greater system of society and humanity, so that system can go through the changes that are necessary for it to go through in order for humanity as a whole to continue on? Because I know all of us can agree that the way that humanity is being right now, the way that humanity is interacting with the environment, the way that humanity is interacting with itself, is not sustainable. And we're coming to this point in which the lack of sustainability is becoming so blatantly obvious that nobody can really deny it. And we can talk about, global warming and climate change, or whatever label that you want to put on it. But all of those labels, at the root of all of those labels, is that there is massive change coming, and humanity is struggling and clinging to quote unquote normal, to quote unquote the way that things have been in the past, which is really obvious that the resources that this planet has, the way that we're using them, is unsustainable. Okay. Now we can go into a lot of political different directions with this, but at the root of all of this stuff is really the recognition that the way that we are living, the way that we are interacting, our dynamic is creating more problems than it is correcting. Now, the way that we're living is a result of all of the solutions that humanity has come up with for the problems of the past. And that's been great. It's brought us to this literal technological golden age. And at the same time, there's a lot of things that are deteriorating: the human system, the human psyche, the mind, the environment. All of these things are starting to deteriorate as we are becoming more and more technologically advanced. And the technological advancement's not the problem. It's the way that we have been approaching life and thinking that just the outside, just taking from the outside is enough. And in reality, it's really about the dynamic, the relationship between the outside and the inside. So we're going to talk really quickly about the seasons. Now, each one of the different stages of healing will fall into a season. And if you understand the overarching theme of the season, you'll recognize how to use each different stage of healing, each different SRI exercise in a targeted way to help yourself and to help the systems around you to move through the stuckness that we experience in the very beginning process of this. Okay. So stage 1 and stage 2 and stage 3 will fall into the overarching season of discover. Now, remember, stage 1 is, oh crap, there's a problem. Stage 2 is there is some sort of cause for this problem somewhere out there. So we go back and forth between focusing the problem and focusing on blaming for what's going on with the problem. And then in stage 3, we finally start to recognize, oh man, there's a me here that's stuck in between this dynamic of problem and cause of this problem. And neither focusing on the problem nor focusing the cause is actually going to bring me to the solution, but I'm just stuck between this dynamic. Okay, so the season of discover is all about recognizing how we, as an individual and as a collective, have been unconscious. We've been asleep to the fact that change needs to happen. We've been asleep to the fact that the old ways of being and doing are not going to work in the future. We've been asleep to the fact that we have not been the best version of ourselves. We've been a fractured version of ourselves. Okay. Now, see stage 1, which is suffering, stage 2, which is polarity, stage 3, which is stuckness. These are the ones that most people want to run away from because they are acknowledging the discomfort. They don't create the discomfort, but they are the awareness that the pain of needing to change is there. Okay. So all we need to do to move fully through the season of discover, we can do that in an instant. We can do that in a millisecond. All we need to do is own the fact, experience the fact that we have not been playing full out, that we have not been the best versions of ourselves, that there is a part of us, there's a part of the collective that has not been incorporated into the whole. And because we have been acting as a divided, separate sense of self, we have created pain. We have created problems. Just the acknowledgement of that, just the, oh crap, I could have done better and I didn't. Okay. It doesn't involve shame. It doesn't involve guilt. It involves honesty. Just that acknowledgement is enough to move us from those lower stages of discover into the next season, which is transform. Okay, transform is rubber meets the road. Transform is stage 4, 5, 6, and 7, which is I am making this change. Okay, at the beginning of it, it's I don't know what the change is, but I know I am going to make it. And then it's building up energy to make that change. And then stage 5, it's bringing in, incorporating all of those parts that were a problem because it was a fracture, because they were divided, all of those parts getting together. And then stage 6, getting ready, getting ready, getting ready. And then stage 7, resolving the original root of the conflict that created that separate, divided sense of self in the first place. Okay, but we have to acknowledge that there's a problem. We have to acknowledge that we have fractured and been a major root of the problem in order for us to get into that transform stage. Okay, now as a society, as a whole, we are really at the border, at the cusp of stage 3 and moving into stage 4 and stage 5. And then some of us at the very, very leading edge are in stage 6. Okay. Now, some of us are still totally asleep and stuck in stage 1. Okay. So, where we need to be as a whole, as a collective, is we need to be moving, we need to be liberating more energy from discover, oh crap, I'm part of the problem, and liberating that and just moving directly into the process, into the flow of transform, which is this is going to happen. We are making this change. We are no longer going to act like we did in the past. We are going to be more whole. We are more whole. We are more integrated, and we are going to own that, and we're going to bring that in. Okay, the upper stages, okay, stage 8 through stage 12, that's the season of awaken. That's the season of the soul. That's the season of seeing the perfection in everything. Okay, now this process of development, each one of us, our bodies start off as a single cell, and we develop into this trillion cellular organism, all those individual parts working together. Okay, if you go back in the fossil record, okay, you will see that the oldest fossils are more simplistic. And as that simplicity has gone through and it's become more and more complex, now you can call that process creation. You can call that process evolution. You can call that process flippity doo-dah. Like, it doesn't matter what you call it. Okay, but life moves through a process of more simplistic to more complex. So the problems that we are facing today are way more complex of problems than we faced in the past. Okay, and this is a beautiful thing. If we are in Awaken, we can see the perfection in where we are now. Okay, look at how amazing it is that we're here and now. Look at how amazing it is that we have the opportunity to create these complex problems, because we don't need to worry about the simplistic problems anymore. It's an amazing thing. However, when we are in that place of being in awe of the moment, okay, that is a place that is so glorious, is a place that's so juicy. Okay, we are emanating a lot of energy, but there's not a lot of practical. There's not a lot of rubber meets the road right here, right now, in this physical 3-dimensional time space. Okay, so Awaken is great, but what we need right now is we need a whole bunch of super courageous individuals that are willing to bridge the gap between discover and transform, between acknowledging the problems that are going on and bridging the gap into we are now the solution. We are now embodying this. Okay, so Awaken sounds amazing, and we need that energy. Okay, but we need enough of us who can jump into Awaken and then drop immediately down into Discover and liberate much more of that soul energy into the process of, oh crap, we have created a lot of problems. So this is where, just sitting at home and praying and meditating and being in your enlightened community and surrounding yourself by other people that are light and love and seeing it all as perfect, that's great for you. But that is creating more pain and suffering in humanity and in our society and in the environment right now. At one point in history, that was the only thing that could be done, is a few individuals staying in that light and love place, okay, and holding the space for humanity to move forward. Okay, but right now we need something very different. We need those individuals to come out off of the mountaintop, to come out of the cave, to come out of the monasteries, to come out of their meditation, and bring that awareness, bring that light and that love into the practical here and now. So one of the things that I would like to do today in bringing all of this together is I'd like to do a series of SRI exercises, a specific order of SRI exercises, not only for us as individuals, but to take that energy that we have experienced, to take those stages that we have practiced up until this point and bring those upper stages into the practical here and now, so that we as a collective, you, me, everybody that's watching this, can start the process of releasing enough energy from within our bound structures and channeling that energy, directing that energy into the practical changes that need to be enacted for humanity as a whole right now. Okay, so we're going to start off with an SRI practice. Okay, and we're going to move into some of the upper parts of where we are as a society right now, utilizing our individual bodies as instruments of releasing, of collecting tubes to gather and focus on the energy that we need as a collective right now. Okay, and then we're going to end this with a very, very different form of working with these different seasons. Okay, and this is something that has only been taught once by Donny Epstein, and so this is something that you're not really going to find anywhere else. And at some point, if you'd like to pull me aside and we can talk one-on-one about this, I'd love to do this. I want to bring this forward. I want you to experience it, but at the same time, I don't have full permission to actually teach this. So what I'm going to ask each one of you to do is just find a place in space that you can just let go, that you can just be, that you can sprawl out, that you can lay out, that you can sit up straight, and you can move your arms around, you can move your legs around, and you're not going to come up to any kind of blockages. And so just keep, while you're finding this place or space, keep your focus on, this is all of us doing this together for the benefit of humanity, for the benefit of all, so that all beings everywhere can get the benefit from us. Okay? For some of us, that is a very, very energizing concept. For some of us, that will help us to push longer and to push harder. Okay, if you're not one of those individuals, okay, if you're one of those individuals that truly is powered by self, okay, and the more and more self is energized, the more that spills over and energizes community, others. Okay, just remember that when we do this for the collective, we get the benefit of that. We get to live, our children get to live in a better society. So whether you see this as doing this for the collective, or whether you see this changing the collective to make it better for yourself and your family, either way, whichever one gives you more energy, I'm going to ask you to go there now, because I am holding that place and space where you are going to go full out into this. You are not going to allow any thoughts or any feelings to distract you from putting your full effort and intention and energy and focus into, we are making this change. Come hell or high water, this is happening, because that's the energy that we need right now. Okay, we need that line having already been drawn in the sand. I don't care what it takes. I am full in. I am going to play full out. I need to learn through this process, but whatever it takes, that's the energy we're going to bring into this process. So finding that place or space, just being, breathing in the nose and out the mouth, feeling the space around the body, feeling the space within the body. Focus on the movement that occurs during the full inhale. Fully expand, fully melt in and relax. Okay, what's the experience that you have when the movement of the breath is your focus? Do you notice your body being able to let go? Do you notice the space around you softening and opening up? Or is it a challenge? If it's a challenge, don't go there. We don't need to go to the place where more problems exist. We need to go to the place where the energy is. We need to go to the place where the potential is. We need to go to the place where it's working. So focusing on movement. Now switch the focus to breath. Full, complete, total inhale, full letting go, allowing the exhale to just fall out of the body. What do you notice whenever you experience the full inhale and you just melt into and experience the full exhale? How connected is that? How relaxing is that? Is the body soft and supple and you drop in? Is the space around you open and expansive? Now shift to the flow. Experience the flow of energy rushing towards the body with the inhale. Experience that energy flowing back out into the surrounding space and space during the exhale. Flow completely in. Allow and relax and let go of that energy. Let it flow completely out. What do you notice in that flow? Is there a struggle or a challenge within that flow? Or is this the strategy that just allows you to totally be and you're at peace and you're enjoying the experience of the flowing in and you can totally let go into the flowing out? Which one is effortless? Now pay attention to each one of those strategies one at a time. Every breath, change it up. And which one of those strategies is the most peaceful, the most ease, the most connectedness? Is it the breath, the inhale, the exhale? Is it the flow, all in, all out? Is it the movement, the full expansion, rising, the full contraction, dropping in, melting in? Which one of those do you notice is the most effortless to just observe and to flow and to go along with rather than struggling and trying? If it's effort, that's the wrong one. That's the one you leave alone. Okay, I'm going to ask you to step up today. I'm going to ask you to pick two different strategies that you're going to focus on simultaneously. The one that's the challenge is the one you're not going to focus on. The other two, take the most connected, the most complete, and the second most, the easiest, the second easiest to drop in. Now, we're going to place our hands using whatever strategy is working with you. We're going to take our hands at the very, very top of our chest. We're going to fully experience the cycle, either the breath, the movement, or the energy flow right up underneath the hands. Let no other part of you take control. Let no other part of you start this process. Let no other part of you be the end of this process. Right up underneath the hands. Channel the focus directly up underneath the hands. Where in this process, where in this cycle is the most peace, the most ease, the most connectedness, the most effortless ability to drop in and just be with this process? For most of us, it's going to be somewhere in the exhale. It also may be in the inhale for a few of us. Now dropping right over the solar plexus, all the way in and all the way out. Full expansion, full contraction, full flow, full release. Whatever strategies are working for you, keep two strategies, but make it directly underneath the hands in the solar plexus. Okay? Where is, how big is, what's the quality, what's the quantity of that place or space within this cycle, within this process? And now back up to the very top. Which one of these two spots, the very top or the middle spot, the solar plexus, which one of these two spots has the most or the largest or the most obvious place or space where you can just let go and be, where you're fully connected, where you're observing rather than doing? Now move to the belly button. All the way, complete, full process and cycle, paying attention to that place or space within the cycle in which you just drop in that portal, that doorway to just being. Now, allow yourself one breath at each one of these three spots, the very top of the chest, the solar plexus, right over the belly button. Which one of these three spots is either the most connected, the most peaceful, the most at ease, the most effortless in just being and observing and being drawn into this process? And which one's the most challenging? Which one is the most tense? Which one is the most uncomfortable? Which one is the most blocked? Which one is the most numb? Which one is the most disconnected? Identify spot number one, which is the most at ease, the most at peace, the most flow, the most movement, the most effortless breath. And which one's the opposite? Spot number three, the challenge, the disconnected, the pain, the wound. And spot number two is the one that's neither your favorite nor their least favorite. Spot number two is the one that is neither the most connected nor the least connected. Now, stay connected to spot number one, all the way, full cycle, dropping in, experiencing, owning, savoring that place or space of peace and ease, and dropping in and just being. 3 to 4 full cycles using whatever strategy works for you, the flow, the breath, the structure, using 2 of those strategies that are working. Now move to spot number 3. Repeat after me. Sometimes it seems I'm so stuck. Go. Now fully experience that cycle directly into spot number 3. One full breath, one full expansion, one full flow, and now back to spot number 1. Experience the fullness, experience the connectedness, savor, revel in that place or space, that portal of connectedness to your being. 3 to 4 rounds. Now back to spot number 3. Repeat after me. Sometimes it seems like I'm so helpless. Go. Now fully experience the breath, the movement, the energy flow in spot number 3. Fully search and be curious about that place or space of peace and ease. Now move back to spot number 1. All the way. Savor spot number 1. In rapture of that place or space of spot number 1. Diving into that portal to connectedness and beingness. 3 to 4 complete cycles. And back to spot number 3. Repeat after me. Sometimes it seems like nothing works. Go. Now fully experience the cycle in spot number 3. What's different as you let go? Back to spot number 1. Drop in, embody that portal, that doorway into the connectedness, into the being, into the ability to just let go. Fully experience 3 to 4 cycles. Now back to spot number 3. Repeat after me. Sometimes it seems like things will never change. Go. Now full, complete cycle into spot number 3. Curiously observing, searching for, being with that place or space of peace, ease, and connection, however, whatever it is. Now back to spot number 1. Fully experiencing the connectedness in spot number 1. 3 to 4 full cycles. Only spot number 1 is involved. Keep going. And now back to spot number 3. Repeat after me. Sometimes it seems so impossible. Go. Now full only in spot number 3. Let no other spots get involved. Let no other spots lead. Experience the dropping in, experience in the connectedness, whatever, however, wherever it is. And back to spot number 1. 3 to 4 complete cycles using those 2 strategies that you identified as working. Now just check in to spot number 3. 1 to 2 complete cycles only in spot number 3. What's different? Acknowledge the difference, even if it's minor. Just acknowledge what has changed. Back to spot number 1. Curious, has spot number 1 changed at all? What do you notice now that we've spent more time in spot number 1? What do we notice about the space around us now that we've spent a lot of time with spot number 1? Now we're going to jump to stage 3. Move both hands back to spot number 3. And now feel that disconnected, feel that stuckness, feel that challenge, feel whatever it is that made spot number 3 your least favorite. Now intensify it. Really twist, really turn, really push in, really intensify that stuck sensation, whatever it was about spot number 3. Make it worse, make it worse, make it worse. Now make the sound of the stuckness. Oh, so stuck. Oh, make the sound of the stuckness. Intensify it, intensify it, intensify it. Repeat after me. I am so stuck. Go. We are so stuck. Go. I am the most stuck in the entire world. Go. No one on the planet is as stuck as I am. Intensify it. Oh, make the sound of the stuckness. Humanity is so stuck right now. Go. All the way in. Now relax. Open up. Keep the hands in spot number 3. Keep the cycle going. The breath, the movement, the energy of spot number 3. Really experience it. Acknowledge that spot number 3 is the part of us, is the part of humanity that feels rejected, that feels isolated, that feels misunderstood, that feels abandoned, that feels rejected, that feels humiliated, that feels that injustice has been acted upon it. Acknowledge that. Acknowledge spot number 3. Ask spot number 3, what is it that you need? Speak up. Talking to this part of you, say, speak up. Go. Now add in whatever nickname you had whenever you were a kid. Say, speak up, and then fill in the blank with the nickname. Go. Speak up louder. Go. Connect to the whole body of humanity and ask those parts of humanity that have been experiencing some sort of challenge. Ask all the parts of humanity that need to have a voice. Ask them to speak up. Say, speak up. I see you. I feel you. Speak up. Say it. Say it out loud. Experiencing fully that place or space within spot number 3 that you can just drop into, melt into, just be with. Ask that spot to speak up. And repeat after me. Right here, we are so stuck. I apologize for not being with this part in a more loving way before this. I am now ready to reconnect with this part. I am now ready to give this part everything it needs all the way in, all the way out. Keep one hand on spot number 3. Start breathing in the nose and out the nose, in the nose and out the nose, in the nose and out the nose. Keep going. Spot number 3. Keep going. In the nose, out the nose, in the nose, out the nose. Keep going with spot number 3. In the nose, out the nose, in the nose, out the nose. Keep one hand on spot number 3. The other hand plug up one nostril, in that nostril, out that nostril. Switch. In the other nostril, out the other nostril. Switch back to the original nostril, out the original nostril. In the second nostril, out the second nostril. Back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and keep going intensely. We're drawing the line in the sand. We are no longer going to allow the collective of humanity to reject any of its parts. We are no longer going to allow any individual to be humiliated, to be rejected, to be abandoned, to be betrayed, to be left behind, to be inflicted injustice upon. We are now making a stand. We're making a stand within ourselves, every part of ourselves. We're making a stand for the collectiveness of all of humanity. We're liberating the energy that's bound up within our individual structure. We are making sure that that energy goes out to impact the community, and out to impact the whole, so that the whole collective can stand up and in one voice say, we will no longer put up with this. In the nose, out the nose, in the nose, out the nose. Repeat after me. Enough. Go. This will not continue. Go. We deserve so much more than this. Go. We are so much more than this. Go. Now back to in the nose, out the nose, directly into spot number 3. Keep going, in the nose, out the nose, building up that charge, switching back and forth between the 2 nostrils, in the nose, out the nose, in the nose, out the nose, in the nose, out the nose. Continue on, keep going, make it more intense, make it more resolve, bring in courage and momentum, to this. The energy is already there. There's enough of us that are already standing up and saying enough of this. The momentum is there. Just bring in more courage for more people to stand up, more of a collective, one voice, all together. Say it with me now. We take back our power. Go. We take back our community. Go. We take back our compassion. Go. We take back our peace. Go. We take back our sovereignty. Go. We take back our love. Go. We take back our joy. Go. We are more than this. Go. We are ready to fully be more than this. Go. Now, putting the hands straight out in front of you, around and above spot number 3. Bend the knees. Pick the feet slightly off the ground. Find a motion with the hands, palms facing away from you. Get a circular motion going with the hands, however that looks. Get that circular motion going, breathing in the mouth and out the mouth, in the mouth and out the mouth, gulping in all of the energy that's being released and expressing all of that energy. Merging the breath with the hands, synchronizing the movement of the breath with the hands, like we're swimming through a sea of healing, love, and compassion. And all of our parts, all of the parts of humanity are giving and receiving, are taking in and expressing all of that love and that healing and that interconnectedness. Now synchronizing the hands with the breath, bring in the legs. The knees are slightly moving. The feet are finding a circular motion. There's tiny, tiny little motion going on at the hips, right where the legs connect to the pelvis. That's where the root of this motion is. And that motion is moving out from that small motion at the hips down, making a larger motion at the knees, which makes a larger motion with the feet. The feet can be circling around. The legs can be going in a bicycling type motion. Get the hands and the feet synchronized together. Get the hands, the feet, the breath synchronized together, holding the spine straight, allowing the very, very inside of the shoulders and allowing the very inside of the hips to create this circular, small, tiny motion right at the shoulders, right at the hips, and allowing the elbows, the hands, the knees, and the feet to express that larger motion, synchronizing in the mouth, out the mouth, in the mouth, out the mouth, in the mouth, out the mouth, experiencing the fullness of spot number 3, circling around spot number 3. Experience everything spiraling and merging around and with spot number 3 as the arms, the legs, and the breath are all synchronized. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Find that motion. Allow the body to synchronize and take that motion on. Get the rhythm down. Allow the rhythm to take over to you. And now repeat after me. I merge with all my parts. I accept all of my parts. I accept and embrace all of my rhythms. I accept and I embrace all of my experiences. And now for the collective in humanity, we embrace and love all of our parts. We embrace and love all of our rhythms. We embrace and love and accept all of our experiences. Now, go ahead and place the palms facing away from your body. Palm on top of palm, allowing a clockwise motion, a giant circle that goes, the very top of the circle is at the throat, the very bottom of the circle is down at the bottom of the pelvis, circling around in a clockwise motion, the elbows bent close to 90 degrees, palms facing away, inhaling in the nose and out the nose, synchronizing the circle of the hands with the breath, breathing in the nose during the upswing, breathing out the nose as the hands circle around, in the nose, circling up, out the nose, circling down, in the nose, circling up, out the nose, with spot number 3 right at the center of this circle. If we need to move the circle so it's a little above the throat or a little below the pelvis in order to get spot number 3 right at the center, do so now. Circling around, clockwise motion, in the nose, out the nose, in the nose, out the nose, in the nose, out the nose. Now, as we're circling around, imagine the sensation, imagine the light of victory is pouring into the collective of humanity, is pouring into the physical body. It's being spiraled in with that circular motion, the victory of having already achieved, already accomplished, the celebration of the victory. Feel it, see it, experience it. Victory. Now bring in the celebration of victory with resolution. It's done. There's nothing else that needs to happen. There's no more effort that needs to be put in. The celebration of victory and the resolution of completion of, oh, it's done. In the nose, out the nose. Keep the hands going. Keep the breath synchronized. Keep the focus on victory and resolution at the same time. Celebration and nothing left to do. Complete resolution is spiraling into the collective body of humanity, is spiraling into our individual bodies. Victory, resolution, now bring in momentum. The victory and resolution is carrying on beyond just the individual body, beyond the collectiveness of humanity. It's spreading out, it's flowing into, it's rolling, it's already impacting and continuing to impact and spread out to all of the universe right now. Victory, resolution, and momentum. Victory, resolution, and momentum. In the nose, out the nose, in the nose, out the nose, circling around. Victory, resolution, momentum. Victory, resolution, momentum. Continue, 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 continue. Now hold the hands directly above spot number 3. Repeat after me. My coherent energy richness brings me to the end of hunger, to live within the confines of any one role or job. Profound momentum optimizes the expression of my impact with the whole of creation and builds cooperation with others. I now claim greater bandwidth for information extending beyond any role or any job and engaging collaboration with all of the universe. I experience the hunger and the calling of more of my soul. It inspires and provokes me to just be. Finally. Now just relax. Just allow the body to be, allow the body to move you. Experience the space around the physical body. If you can, tune in to the collective body of humanity. What's different? What do you notice? Where is that place or space of just being within the space around the body? Where is it within the space within the body? Where is it within or around the space of the collective body of humanity? What is now different? What's different in the space of your thoughts? What's different in the space of your feelings? What's different in the space of your emotions? Acknowledging the difference, acknowledging fully the experience is the doorway to being able to carry this experience into practical, real world application. If we make a change, but we never acknowledge that change is not going to continue. So, whatever that difference is, acknowledge it, celebrate it. Whether it's a positive difference, we say we want more of this, maybe it's an uncomfortable difference. Just acknowledge what is different. Just acknowledge what has changed, no matter how you describe it, no matter how you feel about it. Just be aware, acknowledge, and accept. And now, when you're ready, come back into the room, come back into your body, wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, move the shoulders, move the hips. Go ahead and sit on up. Come back to the computer. And whether you raise your hand or whether you type in, just go ahead and share an experience that you had or a question. You type in, oops. Anybody.
On the way.
Christine, can you hear me? Is that better now? Okay, so Rob says, I went from my head feeling disconnected from the world to feeling very connected, energized, a part of humanity. Awesome, Rob. This is one little hack, little trick that we can do, is especially for us externals, to recognize that our center, our groundedness is in that massive body of humanity, and that massive body of humanity is expressing and flowing into and manifesting as this unique individual experience. So we will get much more energized every time we connect to that larger body that we are, rather than this little momentary blip we call a physical body. So Rob said the emotional pain has disappeared. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And remember, Rob, by expressing that and liberating that energy that was being stuck and bound up by a quote unquote negative emotion, now that potential is out in the field in order for the whole to be able to use that. And you have directed that, you've channeled it, you've charged it, you've focused it like a laser beam in a specific direction for the momentum to be expressed out into the whole of humanity. So Barbara, what you got? Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Okay, so at the end I felt just very blessed.
Good.
Blessed. When you said, of course there were many things, right? But when you said finally, I wish I had enough words to say, like finally, like.
Yes.
For me, it's been a path. I'm sure for everybody, right? But I can only speak for me. When this whole situation started, I actually was feeling joy because I was like seeing so many things. But that finally I'm feeling blessed was the experience today. And yesterday in my meditation, I actually experienced that humility, like being humbled.
That little piece in awe of the whole, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's the key part, is like I felt it, I experienced it, because I get, I get the idea, but it was the experience. And today that feeling blessed and like really feeling like finally was just, so thank you,
Yes.
Tad.
Yes. And that's that experience. Okay. This is what our new goal ideally needs to be, is the experience of these different stages, is the experience of these different levels and these different emotions and these different sensations. Because just like Barbara said, there's a big difference between the thought and having the feeling. The mind speaks in words, pictures, and concepts, and that's great. The mind is very, very important. But unless the body is able to say the same thing in its own unique language, there's not a harmony, there's not a congruence, there's not a whole. The mind may be able to get there, but if the body doesn't, it's not practical, it's not real in this dimension, in this real three-dimensional physical reality. And this is where we need to bring the changes. So going somewhere in our head, in our mind, getting the concept of something is amazing, and it's a very necessary part of the process. But there had better be some point in that process in which the experience of mind and body saying the same thing, if that is not happening, then whatever practice that we are doing is not the right practice for us in this moment. May be great practice for somebody else, maybe a great practice for us in this moment. But that is one of the ways that we know is, are we going through the motions, or are we actually producing results? Okay. Very, very good, Barbara. And Barbara also says that she's been practicing the awareness of the first and second chakras. And just like then, that's the main reason I start with stage one, that stage of suffering, because the more and more we have a full experience of the lower parts, the more we are able to sustainably move up into the higher parts and the higher experiences. If we don't own suffering, then Awaken is going to be an amazing concept, but it won't be a real feeling and experience. So yes, Amory, awesome. Feeling extremely peaceful, energized, and expansive. That is awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much for participating in this. You are a very powerful individual. And every time you are having that experience, the peace, the energy, the expansiveness, that is what you are emanating. That is the gift that you are giving to humanity as a whole. Kathleen said, I'm so grateful for the soul connection. We are so grateful for the soul connection with you. And yes, it's really nice to have the understanding of where that is. Sometimes the exact opposite. If we have the experience, but we don't have the thought or the concept, that can be just equally as disruptive. It's like, holy crap, what's going on? So yeah, again, just, we want to have that synchronization of both. And that's why this SRI practice, that's why the 12 stages of healing, that's why Donny Epstein is just so genius, because it is the combination of both parts of the physical self. All right. So anybody else have any thoughts, have any questions, have any concerns, have any curiosities?
I just want to say that was like super powerful overall.
Good.
Like every stage I felt like I like physically slipped into really easily. And I've been grappling with this idea or concept of myself being some kind of bridge. Like it's like a thing that pops up for me in my life over and over and over in all different ways. And
Me too.
Yeah. And I think that like the heaviness of it has really been getting to me for a while, but like it kind of came to like this peak. And I can cognitively understand that I don't need to feel the heaviness. But I think that I still kind of feel it, but I think that experience kind of helped me feel it less and understand that like just being a bridge doesn't mean it's heavy. It actually means that all the weight is dissipated really well.
Yes.
So that concept is very strong in my head, but I think that I'm actually starting to experience that. So that's really good.
And a lot of us are on the planet right now in order to be that bridge. And it is a big, big job. But when we do things like SRI, like meditating together, like praying together, two or more are gathered, when we do that as a whole, as a collective, it takes that load off. It adds so much energy and momentum into the large job that this is. But remember, even though it's a large job, you were made for this. You were built for this. This is your time to shine. And just like the athlete out on the field is giving it all they got, but when they make that score, when they may achieve that accomplishment, when they cross the finish line, the rewards are so infinitely more energizing than the challenge of pushing through, especially towards the end. So as humanity starts to move more and more this direction, the intensity is going to go up, which is why it's so much more important that all of us are getting together and doing this as a group, as a community, as a whole, because the end, the last leg of the race is where we got to give it our all. And that's after we've run the rest of the race. So this is the big push. So stay connected. Stay connected at this time in which social distancing is the norm. Stay connected with yourself. Stay connected with others. Stay connected with your vision, your hopes, your dreams for humanity. Stay connected with us here every day during the stay-at-home order. Go back and watch the videos. Just because you're not doing things exactly the same linear time, recognize that time is very much a creation of the human brain. From a scientific standpoint, in laboratory settings, time moving forward makes just as much sense as time moving backwards. So past, present, and future, in some way, shape, or form, are actually happening simultaneously. So don't think that if you go back and watch an old video and you're doing that and you're engaged with that video, don't think that you're somehow late, because you are adding into that collective experience no matter what time it is. All right. So keep up the good work. By all means, please share this. Go to our YouTube page and subscribe. If you feel called, go to our donation page on our website. And we love you, and we will see you tomorrow, if not sooner.
Bye-bye. Thank you.